Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos is a very special Shabbos. Shabbos after Gimel Tammuz. Yesterday and Monday and Wednesday night, I joined close to 100,000 people at the gravesite of the Rebbe, where we prayed and studied the Rebbe's teachings and prayed on behalf of the community and prayed for our families. And it was a very unique experience to see Jews from all walks of life, Chassids, seculars, Lubavitchers, from all different spaces. We were all waiting in line, close to 2-3 hours worth of lines to go into the Rebbe just for 30 seconds. And all to be united by one idea, and that is what the Rebbe represented. And the Rebbe represented the idea of realizing the potential of every single Jew, no matter where they are, no matter who they are. And that was really the foundation that the Rebbe started, this Mitzvah campaign, to elevate and spiritualize every single Jew, to put on tefillin with them, light Shabbat candles, even if they weren't necessarily observant, or they weren't yet active in Judaism. Give energy to their spark. The Rebbe believed in the concept of tshuva, of return, that just one little spark can transform an entire individual. And it's somewhat connected to this week's Torah portion. Well, not the Korach element. Korach was a rebel rouser, and he decided to choose a fight with, he was also from the tribe of Levi, and he decided to choose a fight with Aaron and Moses, because Moses ultimately designated Aaron as the high priest, even though God designated him, but via Moses. And he says, why are you only the high priest? Why can't we all be the priests? And he had a strong group that followed him of 250 men. Within that group was his children. They believed in the beginning that their father's move was for positive reasons, because they all wanted to be holy. But in reality, they saw that it was just ultimately driven by ego. And that is after the tests that God puts them through, of seeing Aaron putting out his staff, the almonds blossoming, and Korach, who fails the test. And as the earth opens up to swallow up Korach, it says that the children of Korach were swallowed up with him. Nevertheless, it says something very interesting, that the children of Korach never died. So how could it be that the children of Korach never died? More interesting, we find that in the Psalms, which is the greatest book of King David, of David HaMelech, who we recite the Psalms. The previous Rebbe said that if we realize the power of Psalms, you would never stop saying them for even a moment. And it's when somebody gets sick, we say these special Psalms. They're included in our prayers. It's probably the most read book out of all of the writings and teachings of all the books of Judaism outside of prayer and the 5 books of Moses. And so we find that in this, the Psalms are compiled by 5 different authors. One of those authors, of course, is David HaMelech, King David, who wrote the bulk of the Psalms, but one of those authors are his sons of Korach, Lam Natzeach Livnei Korach. And so how could it be that this sons of Korach Psalms were included in the Tehillim, in the book of Psalms, when they were swallowed underground? And so Rashi says something very interesting. He says that they didn't die, but they're singing in Gehenna. They're singing in hell. And so they are singing in hell the Psalms of Tehillim. And nevertheless, these are the Psalms that we read. And so we don't read the Psalms of Moses' children. We don't see the Psalms of Aaron's children. We don't sing the Psalms of any of the historic individuals' children, but we sing the Psalms of Korach's children. Lam Natzeach Livnei Korach. We say it every single Monday in our prayers. We say it every 11 different Psalms in our book. Why? Because the sons of Korach, as they were going down, they did teshuvah. They returned to Hashem. And even though it was technically too late to physically be above ground, spiritually below ground, their souls remained, and it says that they remained alive. And they were singing these prayers, and these prayers were included into our tefillah. It teaches the power of an individual. No matter what, we always have an opportunity to return. And that return happens by just elevating a spark, by realizing the truth. It can happen any moment in our lifetime, and we get a little bit of inspiration. And so as we go into the Shabbos right after Gimel Tammuz, we go with the energy that the Rebbe gave us to elevate people around us, to bring spirituality and Yiddishkeit and Judaism to the people around us. And you never know, just with one mitzvah, and like the Yom says today, how one individual can do a good thing in a city and how it can transform the entire city. Let's take that to heart and think about how we can elevate a person around us by doing one more good deed, and hopefully we'll be able to keep on the legacy of the Rebbe, the vision of the Rebbe, to make this world a greater and beautiful place until we're ready for the time which there will be peace and security in the land of Israel, a time which there will be no more illness, a time which there will be no ego and conflict, the coming of Mashiach very soon in our days. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. To see you tonight, we have a Shabbat dinner, and tomorrow morning at 10:15.